listeners to Wave Talks, a podcast presented by Wave Electronics, where we do a deep dive on topics that interest integrators out there. My name is Robby from our Scottsdale branch, and today I'm here with Hillary from VanRose Builders. Hillary, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Hillary Rose. I work in construction. I own the business with my mom, actually. We do custom remodels mostly, a little bit of light commercial, but mostly residential.
Okay, what got you into the industry?
Would you believe that I've been doing remodels, design, everything house related with my mother since I could walk? But formally, I joined her kind of around COVID. I think we'd just always done this pretty informally. And then COVID came and everything's on lockdown, and it was like, you know what? This is our passion. We love doing this. We've always loved doing this. Let's go ahead and just take the plunge and do it full time.
Nice. And then has it always been a focus on lighting, or was that one that kind of came more?
No. That's definitely something that I brought to the table. So it started off doing countertops. Lisa's really good at countertops. Lisa's my mom. She's great at countertops. And there was a need, obviously, for cabinets. And so then I came in because I'm a nerd and I like numbers a lot. And so kitchen design, storage, efficiency, things like that. That's really where I fit in. And then we're doing these full-scale remodels. It's like I felt like there was an element missing in the finished project. And watching shows, looking at our projects and realizing, something's missing. And it's lighting. There's so much to lighting that people don't realize.
It's huge. I mean, lighting is everything that you see in the house is going to be touched in one way or another by, everything from the temperature of lighting that you're using, thinking old school to having to run up and turn off the lights in my kids' rooms because they refuse to do it, as opposed to just being able to ask an AI assistant to do it for me. It makes a huge difference. Now, have you seen like a real major rise in smart home lighting, even in kind of the lower end of the market?
Well, on the lower end, there's people who know about the product and that there are options out there, and people who just don't know yet. So I've had clients, I've got his house completely ripped apart, and I found myself going to Home Depot to look for, and I said, no, there has to be better products out there. You know how it is. If you ask, you shall receive. And so it really helped me up my lighting. And then I ran all these 3-ways, a couple 4-ways, and I was planning on using just a basic level smart home. And then I found out that the 3-ways were run with remotes. And I was like, no. There has to be something else, something better out there.
Yeah.
And that's really what got me so deep into smart homes, is because there are products out there that work with 3-way and 4-way wiring.
Yeah.
And also they look really cool because they have LED bars. And, So that's how I ended up getting into it.
Yeah. I mean, most of the lighting, even if it's not tied in with the home automation system, Caseta, for example, can be completely standalone in how it works. So, I mean, do you find yourself doing more Caseta, more RadioRA?
I'm doing RadioRA 3 a lot.
Okay.
Because I have the opportunity where I've ripped your house apart. Studs are exposed. Might as well let me, do some new wiring.
Yeah. And
mostly they're okay with that. So
nice.
And now I'm just at the level where I'm ready to integrate even more intricate systems, because you're talking to old school contractors. You mention any of these things, they're like, oh, no. I don't want to go there. I don't want to think about it. But I think that it's something that we as contractors have to come to terms with. Like, this is where the future is going. It's not just going to be in high-end homes anymore.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's going to, it's like television remotes, right? Like, we can't imagine a time without remotes, but there was a time where you had to get up and change your television channel.
Or make the kid go do it.
Oh, right. Exactly.
With the rabbit ears.
And there's going to be conversations in the future like, guys, can you believe that people used to get up to turn on their lights?
I mean, I remember the old Clapper commercial, so at least we've come a long way from that. So.
Right. Hey, I still see those at some store.
You probably still see them in people's houses.
I haven't seen them in someone's house yet. No.
One of these days.
But more to the subject on lighting, I think that it's something that the importance of lighting, it can be underestimated by AV. It can be underestimated by builders. The only people who don't underestimate lighting, of course, are designers. I have this sort of analogy. It's like when you're building a house, it's like putting together a really good outfit, right? And the architectural lighting, so like the can lights, everything integrated, those are like the shoes of your outfit. You can have a really well-designed, perfect, amazingly thought-out home, like great fixtures, great finishes, great furniture, everything. And then your architectural lighting, if it's not great, then it just brings that excellent design down.
Yeah.
And then also, too, if you have just like, so that's like to say, you get this like really nice designer dress, but you're wearing it with flip-flops. Like,
sometimes okay. Most of the time, probably not.
Probably not. But let's say you have just an average design, just nothing spectacular, but it's a pretty design. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Classic like black dress from, I don't know, like Ross or wherever. But then your shoes, like that's where you spent the money. That's the investment you made. It doesn't matter. It elevates everything.
Well, with you being, at the forefront of lighting as a designer, what trends are you really starting to see pop up in the marketplace now?
The thing about lighting is that it does seem like it's evolving and changing, but definitely smaller cans, smaller, more powerful cans. It's easier to sell to our clients too, because people don't want, but I think some designers call them like pancake lights, like those, just the flat LED discs, which to some contractors were like, well, this is the nicest one they have at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Well, okay. But there are better products out there.
Yeah.
You just have to stick your neck out a little bit. I think also I've been doing a few houses with trimless cans.
Okay.
Like they're in the drywall. People are loving that. Like anything flush mount.
I think about like my kitchen, and I've got one of those old track lights that has like the 4 lights that you can kind of angle around on it. It looks like it's from the late 90s, early 2000s. It's awful. No,
what's interesting about some of these products too is that what's inside of them, it seems like a piece of like hard plastic or paper, but they actually will change the radius of how much the light
pushes
out. So yeah, you can get really custom with it. Okay. Really specific.
So, do you enjoy the actual lighting aspect of it, of picking out the cans, picking out the locations of where it's all going to go? Or are you more into the design aspect of, the actual physical touch buttons and switches themselves? I like doing it both. I really do. Mm-hmm. I like, for as far as the cans and designing someone's, how the lights lay out in the areas, right? So you think of areas like kitchens, those, and utility rooms, bathrooms. Those are areas where you need a lot of light because it's task oriented. So I'll always put more cans in a kitchen. Living rooms, great rooms, or sitting rooms. You don't want a lot of light in those. So there is a certain amount of lumens per square foot that you want in each of those spaces in there. That's something I never would have known. I bet there's a ton of people in the industry that have no idea about that. Right. Too. And then also people who just aren't aware, like open floor pans or open concepts. That's huge right now, especially here in Arizona, where our houses really aren't that old. So most houses really are built with that open concept. And people think, okay, well, just because this kitchen is open to this living room or open to this family room, so even though the can lights are on different switches for the 2 rooms, they all have to be in line. And I love telling my clients, no, it's a home, not an air park. So you can break up the pattern. You can have like a specific layout for the kitchen and then a totally different layout for the living room. As long as it makes sense with the lines in the room, then they don't have to line up together in the same room, because again, it's a home, not like an air park. Yeah. And I think that's where, you as a designer, it's so vitally important for people to understand that, because I've been to friends of mine's house where they went and they bought an LED strip from Home Depot or Costco and did the install themselves. And it looks like you're walking into a Circle K picking out candy when you're in their kitchen. Right. Because they do all this crazy underlighting, way too much. It's super bright white, has a very like 6,000 industrial feel. Yeah. Yeah, that's one for me, is people who are like, no, I want the light to be blue, blue, blue. I don't know where this rumor started that blue light is better, but I'm like, guys, this is a home, not a hospital. Yep. It feels very sterile. Yeah. And homes should be comfortable, welcoming. So I like to stay around like 3,000 to 2,700 kelvins. Okay. For homes. Even in kitchens, like you can just have more, like again, more lights, more lumens. So not necessarily like a different color, you just need more. Yes, but speaking of different color, that's another huge one right now, are those warm dim
feature lights are ones that change Kelvin temperature.
Yeah, circadian rhythm lighting.
These are really great. I mean, imagine if you were a nurse, right? And you're a night nurse, and to have your lights on a program schedule to where it's tuned into you and your personal schedule. So no matter what's going on outside, you can still have your own circadian rhythm going in your home.
Yeah. So, that's the personalization right there.
Right.
I mean, talking to integrators, talking to any of you out there watching this right now, getting that level of personalization to a customer, it means all the difference in the world. I mean, when she's considering a nurse and what her schedule might be, the temperature of lighting that's out there, that's how, granular we can get with this stuff and why it's important to get as many perspectives as we can.
And it's not something that only people who have $1 million plus homes can do. Like, it's becoming more accessible. You just have to be aware. And I mean, these are a lot of the products we have are great entry points, like price points. It's worth the investment, I think, because it's in your walls, it's in your home.
Yeah.
Other things you can probably upgrade over time. But if you're considering a remodel, I mean, invest in lighting.
Yeah. Well, it's a necessity too. I mean,
Really.
It's, they talk about how paint is probably the lowest cost, upgrade that you can make or change to your house to provide something new or fresh. I would say the lighting is probably easily number 2 on there. Every bit as important, if not even more important, because like you said, task rooms, needing it for, regardless, you got to have it. So.
Right, too. And I do a lot of age in place. So people who are aging in their homes and everything, having more lights so that they aren't struggling to see what they're doing. Like there's a lot of applications. It's really important.
And speaking of the topic of personalization, going back to your nurse example, and the importance of having lighting that kind of fits with her schedule. When you start to wrap in shades.
To think about too.
Yeah.
That woman is busy, and God bless her, and God bless all those nurses out there and everything that y'all do. I mean, how amazing is it? So you have your can lights, right, that are on your circadian rhythm pattern. Imagine if God's light, the sun, especially here in the desert, we are especially vulnerable to it. Imagine if your shades were also on your same circadian rhythm pattern. So that's even for someone who has an abnormal schedule or who has a regular schedule. We get a lot of, you put LVP in your house, right? Or someone like that's pretty big right now. Direct sun exposure to most LVP planks, it makes them shrink and expand and grow. Like the UV damage that happens with those is like...
Really?
Yeah. So you've just spent a ton of money getting all your new floors done. And then a couple months later, you're having all these problems. And I have to show in the warranty, like, well, it's been sitting in the sun this whole time.
Yeah.
And so shades are such a big part of what you should consider in your remodel.
Absolutely.
Because really controlling the sun, where it's going to hit, what times it hits, we have systems that are smart enough to know what position the sun is in at all times. Like it's amazing.
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, here in Arizona, because you want that natural light, you love having it. But at the same time, if you're leaving an open window, you're just heating your house up in the summer to a 120-degree oven, or pushing your AC unit to some extreme degree, trying to keep it cool. So having that ability where the shades are smart, that can raise and lower, that match along with current sun position, then you get natural light and you avoid the heat.
Yeah, I mean, because who doesn't love to wake up to like, sun in the morning? Yes, perfect. But to have something that you don't have to think about because it's already programmed, perfect. Sign me up.
I'm not a morning person, so I don't want any. My shades are staying down in complete blackout. I'm sleeping as long as my kids.
Not me. That's like, no, I don't have to get up yet. It's still dark. Like,
Nope. I like to cuddle up and stay in bed as late as I can, which is not very late with a 2-year-old. But there's always hopes and dreams.
One day.
Well, Hillary, thank you very, very much for joining us here today for the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Greatly appreciate it, and want to give you an opportunity to, let us know if there's anything that we missed or anything that you really enjoy about Wave. Shameless self-promotion.
No shameless at all. Absolutely not. So coming in, like I wasn't coming in starting this aspect of my business as a contractor. So starting my lighting, and because I backlight countertops, like I do a lot of cool things with lighting. And if it wasn't for y'all and how helpful and how patient y'all have been, I wouldn't have been able to elevate my game quite the way that I have. Also, too, coming in like with sort of a basic but somewhat novice understanding, y'all are totally patient. I can ask my questions. I'm not annoying you.
No, you've been phenomenal as a dealer.
And I appreciate that so much because working and talking to other AV companies, I feel like I'm a thorn in their side. And it's like, well, I'm actually not.
No. And sitting here talking to you right now, just the amount of information that you gave that I gleaned from you is unbelievable. Things that I never would have thought about. You know, and I'm sure that anybody that's watching this now probably didn't think about either.
No, I've been doing this for a lot of years. And I think the same with any industry is that people are going to look for, they're going to want to hire people who can do more than just their one thing. So I think that we should, as contractors or as just like, we need to be able to do a little bit and know at least enough of everything to where it gets to a point, like it'll get to a point with the security or audio visual, like, hey, I'll install whatever you want in the drywalls or I'll leave the wires. But at some point, you know, I'm really am focused on just lighting right now.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, if I was in a position of owning an AV company, a lighting designer would be one of the first people that I look to hire because, like you said, it's a huge industry right now. There's so much going on in it, and you need somebody that knows their stuff outside of just being like, oh, hey, we can just throw this in the ceiling and, you know, maybe a switch here or there. Yeah. So
a lot of projects I did, it was just like, oh, we'll just do this one here, and there. And that's essentially what clients want. They don't want to think about where their can is going to go exactly. You can't hold their hands to that process, but you should be confident enough in your knowledge and your abilities to be able to do it for them. Say, here's the position. Are you okay with this? Yes. Okay. Great.
Yep. There's an art to it.
There really is.
So,
and also too, I can't stress enough the amount that I've learned by just observing myself, like in my own kitchen. Where do I want light? Where do I wish I had more light? Or just, you know, watching someone else work in their kitchen. Oh, that's huge for me. One of my first meetings with a client, if they want to remodel their kitchen, like, okay, I start opening all their cupboard doors
and seeing what they
let me see how you live. How do you use your kitchen? And, you know, taking pictures, because that's key. I don't want to just give them a kitchen that looks like everyone else's.
Yeah.
Because if they cook in a certain way, well, then I want it to make sense for them so that when they move back into their kitchen, they're not like, oh, wait, where do I put this now?
Yeah. That's always fun, finding counter space. And then honestly, everybody's got a junk drawer, right?
They have to have one, yeah.
Gotta have
like that.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
You know, not that I can think of. Anything else y'all want to ask?
No. Well, thank you again, Hillary, so much for joining us. The information was absolutely incredible. And I would highly advise to anybody out there, if you need lighting design, if you need help or questions with it, Hillary, if you're willing to, please share any information somebody can contact.
Absolutely, too. Also, if you have if you're thinking about remodeling or you have questions, please come to me. We've an amazing team, wealth of information, and kind of as I was saying earlier, people I think are going to start looking not necessarily for, I just want someone who can get the job done. I would like a little bit of hand-holding, a little bit of everything. Can't really afford a designer, but, you know, someone who maybe can help me with all of the process and all of the small things. I mean, we are small, like mom and pop companies like mine, but we are out there. We have an Instagram. It's just now getting up and running, so not a lot of posts on it. But please, I think the link's going to be in the profile.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely be putting her link for information in the write-up on this, as well as all of our podcasts that you can go and view on WaveView. And if you have any questions, if you have any emails that you want to send over to us, make sure you send them over to waveinc.net. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.